Amanda here with Crafting with Amanda, and welcome to the Makers with Heart collaboration for October, where we are focused on the October stamp of the month. This guy is so darn cute. If you make a $50 purchase in the US, you can get this whole stamp set for $5. If you're a VIP, you can get it for free with that same purchase amount. And for the first time ever, it comes with thin cuts. So all of these shapes that you see that are grayed behind now, those represent the thin cuts. And again, if you make a qualifying purchase, you can get it at a discount of $22.95 stamp set and thin cut. If you're a VIP, you can get it for $17.95. So now let's look at some of the photos that I am going to be using. I'm also doing 30 days of sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life, and all month for the 30 days of sketches I have been using old from the 90s Disney photos. Some of them are double exposed, as you can see in that lower teacup, but we got pictures of Tweedledee and Tweedledum in the teacups, and that was just a lot of fun. So I am going to scrapbook. I'm making an album throughout the whole month in these 30 days, and I'm using a thread, as I call it, to kind of make sure that the scrapbook has continuity. And my thread is the color Candy Apple Red, and then also some die cuts that I did with a Cricut, or I have a friend, MISTI, that lent me some punches that she has that cut out the shape of Mickey heads in various sizes. So I went through my stash, and as you can see here, I'm pulling papers from those paper collections that have Candy Apple Red in them, and I'm just trying to find the ones that work with my photos. It's funny, most of the other photos that I have, the Candy Apple Red was very prevalent in there. It's a color that you just see around Disney, but with these teacups in pinks and the corally colors and kind of the off purples, I don't have paper that really coordinates. So I'm struggling here, and I go through my packs, and I know I want to make sure to incorporate that Candy Apple Red. So I'm really just taking a look at the sketch, which I will put here in the corner, and it is by Lynn Furlonger, and I am just doing the left side page. I am not doing the right side page, and I take inspiration. At first when I saw this, I thought it was color blocks, but then I realized it's kind of layers of color, and so I shift directions in the papers that I'm pulling. And all I mean by that is I'm pulling bigger pieces or a variety of sizes so that I can make some layers. So here is my stamp with that thin cut, and I'm just showing you that it has those 5 dies, and I am concentrating on the one owl that's flying without the winter hat on and the branch with the leaves on it. So I decided that I don't like a lot of the big borders on the stamp set, so I decided that I would cut them out of color cardstock. So here I did the one out of toffee, and the other one, it was a scrap of green, and I'm gonna guess it's avocado, but my scraps I don't keep in color order. And I had cut multiples of each of them, and that first one when I stamped it I didn't have the branch lined up correctly, and again that bothered me, so I went ahead and re-stamped it. And then I'm going to go ahead and color these with my shimmer brushes. Also use black for the eyes along with the white gel pen to give it some glints. I will remind you to subscribe to this channel. If you see it in red, you can hit that subscribe button and it'll subscribe you. You can give a thumbs up to this video or any of the other videos that you like when you're watching today, and that helps those channels. It lets YouTube know that it's content that other people might want to see. And here with the shimmer brushes, I am not a big color person, and I wasn't sure why, because I remember I used to enjoy coloring. Well, in one of my upcoming videos, I did some coloring with colored pencils, and I remember why I'm not a big color person. I have had arthritis in my hands, diagnosed at age 27, and I am many decades beyond 27, so coloring hurts, and I forgot about that. But I just know that for me, the shimmer brushes, markers, even paints, because it doesn't put as much pressure or drag on my fingers or joints, as funny as that sounds, it doesn't hurt as much. So I love coloring with the shimmer brushes, and now I remember why. So I'm just using, I think it's the Desert Sand along with the Toffee shimmer brush, and then I have Sundance, and I think I just grabbed the green apple. It might have been evergreen, but I think I grabbed the green apple for coloring in the owl. And like I said, I did use a black journaling pen to highlight the eyes. And when you do color with the shimmer brush, unlike alcohol markers, if you go over the same section again, it will make it darker and show that line. So you just kind of have to be mindful of how you color it in. So here I'm giving the glint in the eye and kind of the whites of the eyes. Not that owls have a lot of that with that gel pen, and in real life it really kind of pops. And so I saw, I think on Lori's, that she gave the owl some blue eyeshadow, where I'm just going ahead and doing all of it in tones of brown. And now here I'm not going to have you watch me color all the leaves. I just do them all in the same color green, the same pattern here, and this is all I do. And like I said, you just have to be careful that you don't go over the sections multiple times if you don't want to see those lines for coloring. Jumping ahead to trying to put these layers in and matching that sketch, I am using this is paper from the 4 Seasons Spring collection from last year from Close to My Heart. It also has the candy apple red color in it, but I love it. I just think it's perfect. It has the colors that I need for my teacup layout. So I'm just auditioning the different papers and the different orders and seeing what works for me, and realizing because it is layering, I don't have to have the whole sheet underneath. I just have to have small sections for each side. I had cut that, fussy cut that out of one of the papers from a different stamp set. I want to say Good Days. I don't remember the name of the paper pack. But it's not going to work. It's just too much flowers, too much of a good thing. So I need to go ahead and cut my center part down here. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just cutting 2 inches off of each side. So I will have a 10-inch square in the center. And then I am just going to eyeball what size I want for this floral paper. Again, just looking at the sketch and how she has set things up, and just using my fingers, I pinch it on there. I used to be very persnickety and very fussy, and it had to be right on the right, inch or quarter inch, and on patterns I was following right to the exact measurement. And over time I've kind of realized that it's okay to eyeball it, as they say, and not necessarily have it be an exact science. So this is the point that I realized that I only see the 2 edges of that half circle paper that's in the candy apple red. And so I'm looking at it going, oh, if I cut that in half long ways, maybe I can put it on the sides. And so that's exactly what I'm going to do, is I just measure it out. It's a little better than 4 1/4. So 2 1/8 on each side, and then I get that nice longer piece of that candy apple poking out from behind the photos and things. And again, you can see that I'm just using my fingers for my measurement mark, visual how far down I wanted it to go on the page. Those are done, and it looks like a bigger piece of paper. The other thing that I'm doing is I am having the circles both kind of, the flat side is towards the center of the layout, and that was intentional. It just kind of moves your eye in. It doesn't like put it across the page, but it's moving or looking to the same direction. So now I've added my branch and my owl at the top there. I'm thinking, great, this is fun. She had tags, Lynn had tags on her layout for journaling. The title, I believe, is on the right hand page, but I wanted a title on this. So on my Cricut, I just created a tag using Cricut shapes, and then in the Comic Sans font from my computer, I went ahead and typed out "Who's Ready for Fun" and overlaid it on that tag that I created. Now I have a punch, and I'm going stash diving and pull out this, I believe, fern stitched ribbon. And that's just going to add the perfect little accent to all of the tags that I'm going to include on this. And to keep those, without tying them, to just keep them down, I use a little bit of glue and then my reverse squeeze tweezers to hold that down. And now that that's dried, I'll go ahead, and I originally had them tucked in underneath like Lynn had, but because I went a little bigger with my base 10 by 10, I'm going to go ahead and tuck those under the photo. And I was looking at this and it was just too boxy. I felt like I needed to switch some things up. So you can see I move my tag and kind of put it at an angle, or kitty wampus as I say. And then these are some of the punches that Missy had lent to me. And so I've just punched out a bunch as I've been creating my layouts this month. And so I'm auditioning them on here. I don't know if I'm just so visual that I like to see things and put them in place, and I will move things around multiple times and try to get to a point that it's pleasing to my eye. But sometimes what's pleasing to my eye is more of a feeling, like I put something down and my whole body relaxes, or it just goes click, and that's right. And I don't know why, but by reversing that photo of Laura and I in the teacup with the title, for me, it was just like, oh, okay, this feels so much better. So now I'm going to audition more of those Mickey heads. I did go to my Cricut and cut out some bows for the hair, so if I want to make some of them into mini heads, I can. And then I have some daisies that are left over from a page that I had done previously in the month, and I just thought this is great. I love daisies. They're so much fun. They're really easy to make. In evenings that I kind of have more work hours, but my brain has shut off, I will go ahead and just punch out those daisy petals and then go to the Cricut and cut out all the circles, and I just keep them on my desk. So I've tucked in this Mickey head, kind of like a hidden Mickey. If you've gone to the parks at all, that's something that they do. And I felt like this layout just needed a little bit more, but I didn't necessarily want to do a border around all of the outside because the owl is out there, the tag ribbons are falling to the outside. So I went to my stash again. I encourage you to look at your stamps and see what you have. I have kept a notebook of all of the images, and so I can kind of go through there and see. And this border, which kind of looks like a daisy, was perfect. So I'm just balancing it in the top right and bottom left. I'm going to color those in, but on this same stamp set, it had a single, a little bit bigger of that same shaped flower. So I'm going to grab my pigment White Daisy ink, which if you haven't used this or don't have it in your supplies, I highly encourage you to invest in a white pigment ink. It can really, you can stamp with it. It's kind of like having a white gel pen. I think it's a really good tool to have available to you. So now I've done one in each corner, and kind of to bridge that gap of the line going from left to right bottom, I went ahead and added a daisy onto our Mickey. So I'm not going to have you watch me color in all of those pink flowers, but this is the final layout. One more album is ready to go, or one more page is ready to go in the album. I'll have linked below the videos for all of the Makers with Heart and their videos. Katie was yesterday, and I am last for us this time. There'll also be playlists for the 30 days of sketches and ways that you can connect with me, and products that I like to use are also all in the video description. Bless.